When I was in Israel, and for those of you that have been there, you've been to some of the ancient synagogues, and what you'll notice is there's a stone seat. It's a stone bench, and it's called the Bema seat, or the Moses seat. And every Shabbat, one of the rabbis or one of the people that is part of the local assembly would read the Torah. That was the only thing that you were allowed to do when you sat in that seat, was actually read. You were not allowed to commentate. You were not allowed to give your opinion. You were not allowed to preach. You were not allowed to add or take away from it. You literally only read the law and the prophets. When you stood up from that, you could commentate, you can argue, the rabbis would come together, they would give their opinion of it. That was fine. But when you're sitting in Moses' seat, you are only allowed to literally read the word of Yahweh. So what do we have here? We have first Yeshua saying, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments, and you'll do what I tell you to do. And secondly, what does he tell his disciples to do? To listen and do every single thing the Pharisees tell you to do from that seat. Why? Because when they're sitting in that seat, they're not commentating. They're telling you exactly what my Father told you to do 1,200 years earlier. They're speaking the Torah and the prophets. And Yeshua, in a very clear but indirect way, because most of us as believers do not grow up even knowing what Moses' seat is and the significance of it, or what they did when they sat on it. But Yeshua is telling them very directly, I want you to do, hear and do the Torah. He's referring right back to the Shema in Deuteronomy chapter 6. Hear and do. Hear, the Lord our God is one. He is Echad. And you are to keep his commandments through faith and write them on your heart. He is making it very clear, and that's why I'm going over this over and over, because I cannot stress the importance of this, that he's telling his disciples to do what the Pharisees say. And what did the Pharisees say? They quote the Torah. Matthew chapter 19, verse 16 says this, Now behold, one came and said to him, Good teacher, what good things shall I do that I may have eternal life? So he said to them, Why do you call me good? No one is good but one, that is God. But if you want to enter into life, keep the commandments. He said to them, Which ones? Yeshua said, and he starts quoting the different 10 commandments. You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness, honor your father and your mother, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. So here's what we have. We have this rich man coming to Yeshua saying, listen, I want eternal life. I can see clearly that you're a miraculous person. How do I enter into eternal life? And Yeshua says, keep my commandments. He does not say, hey, by the way, if you'll just raise your hand, come down to the front and invite me into your heart, then you will have an eternal life. He doesn't say that. He says the very same thing that his father said 1,200 years 4,000 years earlier, keep my commandments and you will live. If you eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil and you disobey me, you will die. It's the same message from Genesis all the way to Revelation. We just have to look at it the right way. And so the rich young ruler says, well, which one should I keep? Yeshua begins to walk through the commandments, and he interrupts him, and he says, man, I've kept all those. And Yeshua says, now go and sell everything that you own. And the young man walked away sad because he had many possessions. Why does he say that? Does he really intend for him to go sell everything? No. He is saying that the Father is only looking for one kind of worshiper, and is the worshiper that will worship in spirit and in truth. And that young man had the truth. He was keeping the truth, but he was not doing it through faith. And faith is what's required to make the truth come alive. Come and join us as we travel back in time 4,000 years ago to discover exactly where the holidays of Christmas, Easter, and even Valentine's Day come from. Why do we celebrate the birth of Jesus on December 25th? Whose birthday really is on December 25th? Where did we come up with December 25th? Where did the star on top of the Christmas tree come from? Where did the Christmas tree itself come from? Where did St. Nicholas come from? Are we sure that St. Nicholas even existed? Have you ever wondered where the famous phrase, ho, 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 comes from? It comes from the late 1600s when they used to have plays, and before the devil would come on stage, he would announce himself by saying, ho, ho, ho. Did you know that original Santa's elves weren't little guys that made toys? They were Krampus demons that would punish the children if they weren't good for that year, while St. Nicholas would give them gifts if they were good. Who is the Easter Bunny? Where did we get Easter eggs from? Why do we celebrate Easter on the first Sunday after the vernal equinox? Did you know that Christmas was illegal in the United States until the mid-1800s? Can we celebrate these holidays according to the Bible? This is by far the most popular video on the internet on the history of Christmas and Easter. This video has changed hundreds of thousands of people's lives, and it will change your life too.